Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Kathy Kennedy Show. My name is KK. So glad you've joined us again. Boy, oh boy, folks, do we have some exciting programming lined up for you in the days and the weeks ahead. In fact, let's highlight some of what we've got coming up for you this week alone. We are going to introduce to you a brand new technology segment. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm far from being technology savvy. I mean, I can put up a post on Facebook. I can even take a picture with my smartphone. Ask me to explain the latest gaming system or perhaps how to use a GoPro camera. Yeah, not so much. Not very good at that. Well, if you're like me at all, not to worry, we've got you covered. We've got a brand new technology contributor who is going to be guiding us through all the ins and outs of all the latest gear and equipment and how to use it all. Speaking of gadgets, if you own a boat, whether that be for fishing or for pleasure, you know that there is a ton of technology that you can put on board. Everything from a depth finder to GPS to sonar to a fish finder. Now, some of you may already be using some of that equipment, but are you using it to its fullest capacity? Well, if not to worry. Enter Darren Bahanas. He is going to help us sort through some of the latest gear and, more importantly, how to use it. Well, I told you last week when we did our premiere episode that one of the things that we are going to be focusing on the show is music and entertainment. And boy, are we going to be doing that in a big, big way. We are going to have a sit down with the one, the only, the rock and roll icon, the legend, and a really good friend to this very show, Mr. Kenny Shields of Streetheart. Now, the man, I always say, is like a fine wine. He only gets better with age. And I tell you what, he is busier than ever these days. Brand new album out, which we are going to talk to him extensively about. He's also touring the country coast to coast. He's got a huge Casinos of Winnipeg show coming up for us this weekend. Well, we are going to sit down with him, catch up on all the latest happenings with that musical marvel. Now, I am so thrilled to bring you our next interview. This past weekend, I had a chance to do a little chatting with the one and the only Gord Pizer. Gord was in town to give a couple of different seminars at the brand new Cabela store, which, by the way, can I just say, if you have not had a chance to go and check out, you really got to make some time to do so because it really is such a complete experience. Give yourself lots of time, by the way, lots to see and do in that store. So Gord and I did some chatting about things related to fishing, of course. What else would you talk to the doctor of fishing about? And we did it in the lobby of the Cabela store, which, by the way, was jam-packed on a Saturday. And why wouldn't it be? Lots of people coming down to hear Mr. Pizer speak. So that explains why you're going to hear some shopping carts in the background. In any case, let's take a listen to this chat with Gord Pizer, which is brought to you by our friends at Alumacraft, where you can get the best catch of the season from now until October 25th. Take a listen to this. And I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend. Some even call him the doctor of fishing, Gord Pizer. Gord, welcome to Winnipeg.
Well,
welcome
thank
to
you.
the Kathy Kennedy Show and grandson Liam. Nice to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
It is great to have both of you here because those of you who know Gord Pizer will know that it comes as no surprise. He was doing some fishing on our mighty Red River yesterday. Gord, how did it go?
We were out with Todd yesterday, Todd Longley, City Cats. I'm actually going to do a piece for Outdoor Canada magazine and in Fisherman in the U.S. But for Outdoor Canada, one of the things I'm going to tell folks, if there is one thing you put on your bucket list, you come to the Red River and fish for channel cats. I kid you not, in the first 90 minutes yesterday, this guy here got 5 Manitoba Master Anglers. Before noon hour, he had 10 Manitoba Master Angler Award channel cats. Biggest was 30. There is, Kathy, nowhere else in the world you can do that.
Wow, that is unbelievable. Now, how was it using the arm strike, Liam? How hard was it to reel in that cat?
Yeah, it was pretty hard, but after a little while, it started to get easier because, I don't know, I started to get used to it.
Well, because you caught 10 of them, that's why.
Yeah, and Todd was a great expert in terms of telling you how to do it.
Well, and Liam, let's remind everybody, how many masters did Grandpa catch yesterday?
One.
Nice.
I did.
Very nice.
I got 1, he got 10. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Now let me ask you something, Gord, for those parents, those kids who are not lucky enough to have a grandfather like yourself. What tip would you give parents to try and get their kids interested in this hobby and the sport?
Well, you know, Kathy, it's a really good question. Don't two things. Don't overcomplicate it. It's supposed to be fun. You don't need $1 million boat and motor and trailer. You know, a modest Kingfisher. You get out on the water and just have fun. It's about catching the bait, going on shore, catching. We used frogs yesterday, so go on shore and catch a bunch of frogs. When we pulled in at noon hour, we had a picnic lunch. You know, those are the sorts of things that all add to it. But I'll tell you the other, and I've talked about this quite a bit actually. The other thing is don't dumb down your kids. They are so good.
Apparently.
No, this is the honest truth. What we tend to do is put a little spinning rod in their hand and a bobber, and then say, now sit in the boat for the next 5 hours and watch this bobber. That's not fun. No kid wants to do that. Meanwhile, we've got bait casting rods and spinning rods, and we've got all this tackle there. You know what? The kids are better. This young guy at 11, I kid you not, is better with a bait caster than 90% of the adults.
Wow.
And the reason for that is he picked it up, and he started playing with it. Let your kids do that. These are kids that have grown up on video games.
Right.
We've got sonar on the boat. Most of the good anglers I know, you know, they've had to learn the sonar. These kids get in, they're flipping pages, they're touching things, and they are better than most of the adults. So don't dumb down the kids. Make it fun. Everything you do, let the kids do as well.
And those are some great tips. Now let me ask you, how young were you when you first started throwing a line into the pond?
You know, I was lucky. I was probably about 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. But again, it wasn't, my brother and I rowed a little rowboat out, and we were never allowed to go beyond, you know, my parents used to rent a cottage, just like out at the White Shell or whatever, row out maybe 25, 30 feet. We had the old life jackets on, you could barely move, you know, drop anchor. But for my brother and I, that was fun. So again, you know, we were allowed to do our own thing. We went out, we learned from our mistakes.
Right.
And look at the monster that it created.
Well, indeed, and that's one heck of a monster. Who was your mentor then growing up? Is there someone that you aspired to?
You know, it was really fortunate for me when I got to be, you know, in late high school. I actually got invited to come to the Toronto Sportsman Show, and I had just started work for M&R in Ontario, and I literally was my early 20s, early to mid 20s, and I met Bob Azumi. And Bob and I, we were both doing seminars at the Toronto Show in our 20s, and Bob said, you know, we were talking behind the stage, and he said, you know what, I'm supposed to go up next. Why don't come up and you do the seminar with me, and I'll come up and do it with you. And we have been doing seminars. Our radio show now is the longest running tips radio show in Canada, 28 years. And, you know, it just was a great relationship.
And you know what, you just answered my next question, because I was going to say, a lot of people know you from Reel Fishing. How did you get involved with Mr. Azumi? And now we know the backstory.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Well, that's a wrap for another edition of the Kathy Kennedy Show. So glad you joined us today. And keep in mind, we've got some great stuff lined up for you for the rest of the week. Hope you're going to join us again right here on YouTube. Have a great day. Bye-bye.